Yo, it's your boy Carter for WCC. I'm back in the bit with another reaction video, man. Today we got Not Everyone Needs a Podcast. And I feel like this video is actually needed because I feel like podcasts is one of the main reasons why a lot of shit, and a lot of things, it's not how it used to be. And now people look at podcasts as either having the dumbass take or the take that they use or the dumbass advice that they use is given out to thousands of people. When people start doing it and it start affecting people like us, and then you just got these people just acting like they just know it all because they just listen to it in a random podcast at 8 a.m. Doing some other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I feel like it needs to be like a CDL now to have a podcast, because everybody getting the podcast, and a lot of these niggas just be saying anything, and we have to stop this shit. Yeah, so let me start yapping, bro, and let's watch this video, bro.
I'm tired of dudes talking about aliens once, then thinking that they have the right to buy a Shure SM7B from Best Buy. Now they got a podcast called Alien Talks that's just uninteresting and dry. The host sucks, the friends suck, and even the podcast name sucks. You're not the next Joe Rogan, bro. Put the mic down and put the fries in the bag. Someone's gotta say it. Remember that one relative that told you that you weren't making it to the NBA when you were like 5 years old? Just think of me as that. Hey, everyone needs a little bit of tough love in their life. Not everyone can be nice in this world, and I'm gonna be the boogeyman here saying how your podcast sucks and your friends are boring. Maybe you should think twice before you take that trip to Best Buy. See, the problem is that this world is way too nice now, and now we have podcast clips of dudes talking about how they want their mothers to have good sexual experiences.
Because I love my mom, I want her to come. I don't know if this is weird to say, but I want my mom to have flawless experiences.
How do you not know if that's weird to say? Like, oh my gosh, I want my mom to have great sexual experience. That is weird.
But look though, like, how do we even get to some shit like this? This is what I'm trying to understand. Like, what topic, what conversation made you want to bring some shit? It should be no conversation in the world where you see me be even thinking about that shit. Even, you feel me? What do we talk about to get there? Like, I don't, let me know, cause bro, no, nigga, like, niggas just be saying anything on podcast. Like, what?
Weird.
I want you to have that.
Yeah,
too.
and I want you to have that as well.
So it's like,
Is that weird to say?
like, I genuinely want my mom to be getting down good.
I'm gonna give you some tough love right here. You know, this is gonna be the toughest love that you've ever felt. This love is gonna be tougher than a well done steak. You need to stop podcasting, bro. I'm sorry. Never in my life have I ever thought about my mom having good sexual experiences.
Literally,
Y'all are
bro.
just odd human beings. What even sparks this conversation? Like, how do you even get to this point? And why was this video even uploaded to the masses, bro? We need to start telling people no more often. You know what, man? I'm thinking about starting a podcast. No, bro, put the mic down. At this point, it needs to be easier to buy an RPG from a gun store than it is to buy a microphone from Best Buy. Because I promise you, if there were background checks,
Know all that, nigga. I know about all that, nigga. Yeah.
for mics, we would be nowhere near this point. It feels like everyone has a pod.
Nigga just compared the RPG to a mic. Both are dangerous. Don't get it fucked. Both are dangerous, but nigga, RPG, nigga, how do damage? You feel me?
Cats nowadays. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. NBA players, rappers, children. The Hawk Tua girl just started a podcast called Talk Tua. Don't get me wrong, shout out to her for running up a bag off that one phrase, you know? I saw that she got 30K for popping out to a club a few weeks ago. Like, kudos to her, you know? I'ma clap it up for her. But why would I want to hear that woman speak for 2 hours straight each week about current events in her life? I mean, for crying out loud, she got famous for talking about how she spits on the pee-pee. Why am I supposed to care about what this woman has to say? Does she really need a podcast for saying "Hawk Tua" and
Spit on that thing, you get me?
the world could go without a podcast from this woman? You know what? Maybe I'm just hating. You know, maybe why don't I just check out one episode?
Can't do it as good as
Do
Haley.
it.
You do it.
No, you do it.
Hot to.
You gotta put like an emphasis on it, like "tuh." You know, like really. Yeah. Say it. All right, all together.
Hot to.
Hot.
Hot to.
Say it aggressive, like
Hot
really.
to.
After watching one episode of the Talk to a podcast, I wanted to announce that I am quitting YouTube and becoming a full-time neurosurgeon, astronaut, and monk, all because of this podcast. This is one of the most enlightening podcasts that I have ever watched, and I just wanted to say thank you, Hawk Tua Girl, for opening my third eye and helping me evolve as a human being with your phenomenal podcast. I really appreciate you. All jokes aside, no hate to her. She's just capitalizing off her opportunity like any other human being would in her position. But overall, I just don't think there's anything really interesting about this woman that sets her apart from all these other podcasts out there. Yeah, she may be able to get some great guests on there because the podcast is connected to Better, which is a sports media company co-owned by Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, like, the guests can only carry her so far, you know? Like I said, there's not much interesting about this woman. She got famous for saying how she spits on the nutsack, you feel me? But like I said, she's just capitalizing off of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Podcasts, after all, aren't the hardest thing to do. Podcasting is one of those things that I believe is easy to start but hard to master. The bare minimum is to get a few mics, sit down with some friends, record, chat for a little bit, and boom, you got a podcast. Like, it's not that hard. And if you already have an audience, it makes creating a podcast even easier. Because if the audience you've garnered cares to watch you for like maybe a few seconds or a few minutes each day, they'll for sure listen to you talk for about 2 hours each week. So it makes sense to why so many people are starting podcasts nowadays. But like the title says, not everyone needs one. While some of them are good, some just feel like people talking just to talk. Like, I wouldn't even call some people's podcast a podcast. I'd rather call it mic terrorism. The other day, I saw a podcast clip of two dudes talking about lefty loosey, righty tighty being the greatest invention of all time.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty is like the craziest invention of man. I use that all the time. The saying lefty loosey, righty tighty. We just got a new machine.
Okay.
It's like it's called an articulating log loader.
Yeah,
And
what?
It sounds like my toilet paper.
Yeah.
There's forks like this that picks up a log and then it can open and close on it, and the left button opens it and the right button closes it. And I literally say to myself, I'm like, lefty loosey, righty tighty when I need to let go or grab on. It's the lefty loosey. I might get that tattooed on myself.
Like, no offense to these two dudes at all, because they're probably great people. I could probably sit down, chop it up with them, eat a steak, and just vibe out with these dudes. But there's got to be something way more interesting to talk about than a saying used for when you're screwing something in. Like, what's next? Are we gonna talk about bunny ears being the best method to tie your shoes? Or maybe even schist being the best rock there is? This conversation just feels so bland and pointless. Like, if an alien were to imagine two human beings talking, I'm pretty sure it'd think of this AI generated ass convo right here. Like, this is the product of podcasts being so easy to start up. We now have dudes talking about screwing mechanisms as a topic of interest. Like, I don't think
like, all this shit going on in the world, niggas want to talk about this shit, man. Like, I'm finna start me a podcast, bro.
Conversation has to be important in a podcast, but there's no way that these dudes copped some premium podcast mics, got the setup and everything just to talk about lefty loosey, righty tighty. This podcast just has no meaning at all. It's just yip and yap going back and forth about nothing. I swear these podcasts just get worse and worse, bro. Like, there's just too many podcasts now, and what more is there really to talk about? We gotta sit here and like just think for a second. What more is there really to talk about? Instead of having to get a degree for a job, people need to start getting a degree for a podcast. Like, let's just be real. Like, is there really a need for a podcast where frat dudes talk about Hawk Tua?
Bro, I don't know if you heard of the Hawk Tua girl.
Yeah.
Hawk Tua. Spit on that thing.
Bro, that blew out of proportion. Like, I low-key think it got too big.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen the clip, but good for her, I guess. I don't know.
No, like, it's everywhere. Dude, even at, like, Old Town, you'll hear Hawk Tua remixes.
Really?
Yes.
Bro, I think it's crazy that you can, like, do one little thing and a clip can go viral and then all of a sudden the next day you're, like, a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yo, this
Nigga
guy
said
in the
celebrity.
comment section even gets it. This man said podcast equipment should cost $1 billion. I totally agree. I'm not gonna lie, like, no offense to these dudes, probably some great people, but I'd rather drag my balls through the hot Sahara desert than listen to these frat dudes talk for 2 hours straight. You best believe I'm serving a life sentence before I listen to Jimmy and Tom from the Beta Theta Sigma frat talk on a podcast for 2 hours. Like, this podcast is just drier than a Popeye's biscuit. There is no energy at all to this conversation. And you may be thinking, like, bro, you can't judge off of just one clip of the podcast, you know? This is every clip.
What is your favorite frat?
I don't know. I like how big SAE's parties are and like
Yeah.
Lambda, but like I think ASIG just threw a really cool party. So
I
think-
heard, dude.
Yeah,
Kyle was just on it. He's an ASIG.
yeah. It was a
That's
really
dope.
good party.
This podcast just sucks. This convo just sounds so generic and bland. No energy.
Like, bro, that combo was dead ass one of the conversations where you just like, nigga, it's 8 a.m. Nigga, you just sit back from the craziest party. And now, you feel me? You talking about they POVs and shit of the party and shit. Like, what? My God, like, y'all ain't, like, nigga, at least talk about what happened at the party, nigga. You feel me?
Energy at all. Just, what's your favorite frat? I like SAA. They're big. Oh my God, I heard Kyle's there. Like, get this off the airways, bruh. Like, what did Joe Budden
Shit not
say?
entertaining.
is that 2-pack of ass.
I genuinely wish I could take back the few seconds of my life I wasted watching that podcast clip, because now I just feel 10x dumber than what I was before. I feel like one of the keys to a great podcast is an entertaining host, because there's gonna be boring parts to a podcast, and it's up to the host to make that podcast interesting when it's getting dry. But the problem with this podcast is that the host has the personality of a raw chicken wing. So when he talks about boring topics and he's also boring, that just makes the podcast 10 times more boring. Another problem with everyone starting a podcast is that some people don't believe that they need to do proper research before they record. Like, a little bit ago on Twitch, there was this streamer named Jason the Ween who hit 100,000 subscribers, you know? He was number 2 on Twitch for his amount of subscribers in that month. And then there was this shitty TikTok podcast called the 949 Podcast that decided to give their opinion on the whole situation. And no, they're not really knowledgeable when it comes to this whole streaming space. So this was their take.
Streaming is the new wave. It's because it's just. But the thing is, it's the new wave because of clips.
Exactly.
Like Jason the Ween, guess how many live viewers he has? Just guess.
Depends on the time.
Just guess.
Like
you guys
5K?
guess. Well, how many live viewers do you think he got?
Like,
I
like 3K?
3K. So like he's like a number 2, or I guess like, well, he has like around 15 to 20.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Saying.
That's pretty good.
But to think about it, like that's not that good in terms of like views.
That's true,
I feel
but
like it's
live,
good for
live?
live.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's good for live, but think about the people in the world. It's only 15K.
15K, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Streaming is not like a mainstream thing yet. It's only
yeah.
mainstream because of the.
Nigga, are you stupid? Like, nigga, bro, imagine 15,000 people in the fucking room, bro. How's it not a lot of people? Like, nigga just be slick hating out the way, right? Nigga, dude, like, what are you talking about, bro?
The clips that they put out after,
Yeah,
which
right.
get millions and millions of views.
Right.
But no one's actually watching that shit live.
Yeah. No, literally, bro.
There's a few things that piss me off about this Dookie TikTok podcast. Number 1, this man is saying streaming is only big because of clips. Yeah, because nobody's gonna sit there and watch an 8-hour stream front to back, you fucking idiot. So to make it
Exactly,
more
bro.
digestible for the average viewer, streamers and their audiences make clips so that more people can see their streams. What's so bad about that? Another thing this man says is 15K live viewers isn't good views because the clips get millions of views. That's how the
Stupid.
internet works.
Exactly,
And 15K is good because it puts him in the top 0.1% of streamers. Like, why is it surprising that a live stream has less views than a TikTok video? Are we becoming this slow in society where we can't comprehend that a live stream that you have to watch live has less views than a video where you can watch whenever? This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he has a mic in his face with the cameras on. This podcast just sounds
The
like
camera's on in front of the hoes, bro. You feel me? The whole 15,000? Oh my God, you feel me? But it's really not like that for real though. You feel me? It's not the popping. It's only popping. Like, he trying to downplay that shit, man. The hoes in front of him, man. But shut up, dude. Man, you don't know what you talking about.
like one huge gossip session. That's the problem with a lot of these
Bruh,
podcasts.
hey.
Some of them are just gossip sessions. Another situation of a podcast host not knowing what they're talking about is this one right here. So a little bit ago, there's a situation with Kai Cenat, right? He had a cameraman that was talking to an underage girl, and
Oh
this
my God.
podcast decided to put out their take on it because, hey, it was a fresh topic. Why don't we say something about it, you know? Why don't we do it for the clicks and engagement? And this is what they had to say.
Kai Cenat, everybody can't go.
This is
You
the
need
fucked
to
up
start
part, though.
looking around. And I know, like, black people specifically, when you get some success, you want to bring everybody with you, but you got to be able to kind of weed that shit out. I shouldn't know who Chris V is. I shouldn't know who Chris Next Door is.
But Chris Next Door is literally an AMP member. What do you mean that you shouldn't know who he is?
I should know who Kai Cenat is because you are the driving force in it, but them I shouldn't even know who they are.
I think it's important to highlight that Chris Next Door is an AMP member. If you guys don't know what AMP is, that is Kai Cenat's group.
That's the problem. Kai Cenat shouldn't have a group.
Kai Cenat joined the group before he became this huge mega streaming machine. This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he's on a podcast.
Exactly. That's how they got on.
Yeah. Having a team and making it with your team is very important. But if there are problematic people in there, kick them out immediately.
But you gotta know when you are the one, like he is the one. I get it.
So he should abandon everybody.
Exactly.
He did not do this alone. Like there was a journey.
Nigga said yes. Bro, and this is why you are on a weak ass podcast, and this is why AMP is one of the biggest groups right now. Like, cause you clearly don't know what the fuck you talking about, bro. Like, really, like, niggas, man, bro, it's all, man, too old to be even talking about AMP anyway, nigga. Let's be, if you want to be real, nigga, you look like you fucking 30 plus, nigga. You shouldn't even be talking about this shit. You feel me? You know Duke 30, but we ain't talking about that, nigga. We talking about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of a camp of them, and I agree. Like this problematic person, this person that was underage girls, he has to go. He like bye. We're never speaking to you. Cut ties.
Now that we are here, and it's the second, third, however many times something like this has happened, what does he do moving forward? Because now it can't keep happening. You have to insulate yourself because at the end of the day, that group doesn't mean anything without him.
That is cap because everyone actually grew themselves before they were in AMP.
Exactly.
That's why it worked so well as a group because everyone had their own platform before joining, except for Chris. He kind of created his platform after, but he was still pretty known. But this guy just knows nothing about what he's talking about, and this is my problem with so many of these podcasts. Like, if you're gonna put out a statement on any current topic, you got to do the research to back it up. You're gonna end up looking like an idiot. You can't just go in willy-nilly on something that you know nothing about. That's why a lot of bigger podcasts like Joe Rogan have someone who can fact check, which is Jamie on his podcast. And if you can't afford someone to be in that spot, you should just look it up yourself before you put out this idiotic take on something you know nothing about. Like, there's a difference between a hot take and just a bad and uneducated take. And this right here is what I consider an uneducated take because he just lacks the knowledge on what he's talking about. I like how some people on the podcast are like trying to tell him like, yo, it's not like this, it's kind of like this, but he just doesn't want to listen. He just decides to be ignorant. I swear some people just get a mic in their face and their brains just go to mush. They don't know what they're talking about. I seen a dude the other day talking about how you need to stop wearing Nike socks with shoes for no reason at all, just because he said so.
Stop wearing Nike socks with shoes, bro, or a designer shoe. Even if you wear Nike socks with some Air Force Ones, just stop doing that, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I just can't see nobody wear no Nike socks.
And who the fuck is this nigga? Bro told us like we was gonna listen to him. Nigga, who are you supposed to be, bro? Nigga, are you paying for everybody's shoes? Are you paying for everybody Nike socks, my nigga? Nigga act like he riding around like he the president, but we don't know we don't know or give a fuck about what you said, boy.
With a pair of shoes, bro. Like, what are you doing? My
fit look weak as shit. So you feel me? Like niggas already credibility just went down by 30%, bro. You feel me? Just off that 2K17 ass hairstyle too, my nigga. Nah, man, you feel me? We good off that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's crazy.
What do your socks have to do with anything on your fit? I understand if somebody says stop wearing a Nike shirt with Adidas pants.
True.
Like, that does kind of make sense. But stop wearing Nike socks with shoes? Why? Why don't you tell us why? Why? I think people got to realize it's fine to have conversations without them being recorded. You know, we need to start stripping cameras and microphones away from society. Everyone has a voice, but not everyone's voice needs to be heard. And since this is a video about podcasts, there's another thing I got to get on my chest, bro. Alpha Male Podcast. This
oh
podcast
my god, talk about it, bro. This
honestly just needs to.
This is what I was really talking about in the start, bro. Like, they listen to these lame ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fresh and Fit. I'm glad this actually popped up. You know what I'm saying? These are one of the lame ass niggas. Fresh and Fit. You should not be listening to anything. You know what I mean? Anything these niggas say out their mouth. Because they are stupid. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say that right now. They are slow. So, if y'all are donating to these people, please don't be doing that, bro.
retire, bro. Like, when I tell you, these podcasts are one of the worst things to ever hit the internet, because after these podcasts hit, all people would argue about is who was worse, women or men. I hate this whole argument, because can we all just agree that men do bad things and so do women? Men lie and women lie. Are we done now? Like, I hate this whole format of podcasts. But yeah, not everyone should have a podcast. Don't just think because you have one good conversation with your homie that you now need this full Joe Rogan podcast setup. No, you don't need that at all. You don't even need a podcast, bro. What you need is a muzzle. But all that being said, this is gonna wrap up the video. If you guys made this far, I appreciate you. Twitch Cameron WAK, Discord link in the description. If you guys enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend you guys check out my most recent video. It'll be right up here on the screen. All that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's Cameron, and I'm out.
Hey man, shout out Cameron, bro. But yeah, man, I really agree with this video, bro, because some people deadass do not deserve podcasts, because I don't know, bro. I feel like podcasts, bro, these are one of the main reasons why a lot of shit is not going as well as it could be. Because these podcasts, you got these people, the alpha male, like, bro, most of these niggas be listening to these alpha males. My nigga room dirty as shit, you feel me? No girls calling your phone, you know what I'm saying? You're unemployed, nigga, you're Prestige 8 on Black Ops 6. You know what I'm saying? You saying you don't want to work out because it hurts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, hey, real people know what I'm talking about, bro. Somebody said they don't work out because it hurts. Like, what type of shit? But yeah, bro. It's your boy Carter Chris WCC. Tell me somebody video. Yeah, man. It's your boy Carter Chris WCC. I'm about to be y'all. Stay safe. Love y'all till next time, man. I'm out, bro.